What's up, everybody? Just playing around. Has anyone ever made that mistake where you have your mask on and then you try to take a drink on accident? I made the video yesterday about how to draw money to you, and I like what people are saying. It is not getting as much play as I thought. Also, I did not know that YouTube changed the way that you can present videos to your subscribers. Now it looks like what they do. I guess they send a notification out if you're on the notification list as a subscriber, but you can't request a video to go exclusively to subscribers. It has members now, and I haven't even went into getting much education on the membership stuff that they have available. They're always expanding stuff. But I did make the video, and I already, if you watch the video on it, I'll give you the label on it just in case you haven't. The one that you need to look for is how to bring money to you. How to bring money to you, and it says subscribers only, but I think it's going out to everybody. But I made that video and I talked about my experience on something that I've been doing, and I didn't do it yet today. But I want to make sure that I do it. Grab it here. Here we go. Grab my magazine. Grab my magazine. Grab my magazine. Already today we had one customer that was from 6 months ago that advertised in the magazine, a pest control company. He got a call from someone. He ran his ad 6 months ago. Someone called him had held on to a book that was from 6 months ago. And he said he wants to put his ads back in the magazine based off of that there. I'm telling you, this stuff works. The feeling works. Uh, Also, just something crazy. One of our advertisers that it's a grocery store advertises in the magazine, and he said at one time someone brought in a book that was 10 years old, that they actually went into his store from their ad that he placed 10 years ago, and he gave them the deal even though the prices that went up just because they came in there with a book that had it was for meat package deals. So I put out that video and to draw money to people. I said, I want you to do this so you can bring money to you. A lot of things happen. Employees that work for me, stimulus payments came through to them. Uh, uh, Credit repair customers, something that had rarely happened, but it happened today. A whole bunch of customers just made a phone call to us and said all of the collections that they got that are, moderate range ones, not high ones. I'm talking about like 1,000, 2,000 and below. They said that they want to just make settlements to get rid of them. They want to accelerate their credit repair process. And if you remember, if you watch the video on what makes us different, I take you from A to Z. Some of the times, to get you to Z in your credit repair process, there's going to have to be settlements. And I also talk about in that video how you can accelerate your credit repair process by just jumping into making settlements. And we don't just jump to do them. It's a validation process. You want to make sure that that creditor has everything to prove that you have to pay them, or that debt collector has everything to prove. And then we go into a settlement phase where we try to settle it. And I always talk about normally 50 cents on the dollar is where they're at without asking for too much. But we always shoot at starting out at 25 cents on the dollar just to be respectable to make them listen, and then they might try to move it up. You have a little bit of wiggle room. We always consult with the client to make sure that they have the funds available because they're going to want to have the money sent to them within 10 days. Um, some of the times they will automatically say that they're going to remove it from the reports, but they also use that as a negotiation uh, uh, tactic to say, well, if you pay a little bit more, we'll also include the deletion. And but we, regardless if they do it or not, or if the client doesn't want to pay more, we just come right back behind and submit it as an obsolete account, because they have no interest in keeping it on your credit report once you make that settlement. But it's been one of those days where customers that came in, they must have came into money, and we're not talking about just the $1,400 that was given in the stimulus. Like, either people that have gotten their complete tax refunds, or came into some money somehow, or someone paid them money, or family, they came in the money. But we had an extremely high amount of customers that just called in today and said they just want to accelerate their credit repair process and just start paying the collections, making deals. And so we got them, set up to have that process started. It'll just help them move forward a lot faster. Uh, let's see here if I have any other questions. We had some questions about the court summons, and I just want to make sure that I'm clear when explaining it to people. With the court summons, if you're not being sued by a third party debt collector, third party means the debt collector purchased it from a previous creditor, and you'll be able to know that by the information in your court summons. They'll usually have an affidavit or bill of sale. We're not talking about uh, court lawsuits where the original creditor is trying to sue you, and you'll know because they'll be listed as the plaintiff, or where well, if it's the original creditor, they're going to be labeled as the plaintiff, and they will hire an attorney to represent them, or they have their own internal attorneys that represent them. So that's the ones that we help people with. Not to say that we wouldn't want to help with original creditors, just that the way that we challenge wouldn't work for an original creditor, because they don't have to do the same type of debt validation that and other types of proof that is required that a debt collector would have to do. Another thing that came to mind is we had a situation where there was a client. He was moved from, he was leasing an apartment. The apartment uh, managers, they were renovating apartments, and they moved him out and moved him into another apartment unit, and I guess did their renovations or whatever. And then all of a sudden they told him he can't move back into his apartment. And then they sent him a bill for damages to the apartment. And then he disagreed with it, and that now they're trying to sue him for it. But one of the crazy things about it is that they offered a settlement at the beginning. Now I want to break down what your rights would be on a normal situation where, let's just say you were evicted, and this was not an eviction, but let's just say you were evicted. They have to give you a rundown of uh, quote unquote damages that they're going to claim on not giving back your security deposit. And when they re-rent it, they cannot charge you for the full amount once they re-rent to another tenant. Everything will stop there, and then they can come after you for that other amount. But what I've seen them try to do is they rent it out quickly, because I mean, I'm a former landlord, and when we evicted someone, and thankful that we only had to evict, I think, two times. Out of all the years that I've been a landlord, only two times we had to evict. And each of those times, we would do like a rundown of what we considered was, to get the property back up ready to re-rent, but we could not charge after we re-rented it, and we, hurried up and got everything cleaned up and re-rented it as soon as possible. So no matter what, if you're evicted, that same process works for you. But what happens is a lot of people just, don't respond, and then the landlord gets a default judgment against people when they, if you just knew your rights, where you could just go to court and you ask for a breakdown of what they're trying to charge you for. And yes, they're going to keep your security deposit, but that's part of fixing the property, that does not go towards rent. And a lot of people don't even understand that. They think that if I don't pay the rent, that security deposit goes towards rent. No, it actually goes towards getting the property back up to standards, because most people who get evicted don't leave it ready to rent out to someone else. But with this situation, what happened was they moved into another unit, and then they did not invite him to come back, and then they sent him a bill for, I believe it was like $2,800, that they wanted him to pay for damages to the property that they pulled him out of because they wanted to do renovations on it. And he disagreed. And then an attorney sent him a letter, and they were trying to get a settlement right off the bat. So, regardless of what happened, this is what you could do in this situation. Because he was never notified that renovation was going to be cost him anything. He was never notified that he was not going to be able to move back into his unit. None of that stuff, not verbally or in writing, according to him. So uh, we sent the letter to that attorney stating his side, that he just thought he was just being moved out so they can do some renovations. He thought that the renovations were 100% on them, because there are points where, especially with apartment units, that at some point they're going to have to come through and do some renovation. You can't have people living there for 10 and 20 years and never do anything to it. It's going to be normal wear and tear. And we put that in the letter to the attorney, that if he never knew anything verbally or written that he was going to be responsible for anything. He thought that it was just regular renovation, that maybe they just got around to his unit, something that was going to be done, and that they were going to be paying 100% for it, and that he was going to be able to move right back in there after it. So that's how we responded to it. In a later date, I'll update you as to what they said when the attorney responded back. Also, we included in that, because it was not clear with the letter that the attorney sent, it was not clear as to if the attorney purchased the debt and they're trying to come after the money, or if they're representing the the client that they're trying to collect the debt for. And it's not a lawsuit; it's just a demand letter, straight up demand letter. And it stated from the attorney's office that sent the letter, at the bottom said that an attorney has not reviewed any part of this debt collection that they're attempting to collect. That they're just sending a letter and no attorney on staff has reviewed it. So we sent that back explaining his side, and we said, because you did not make it clear 100% if you are representing the management company or if you've purchased a debt, we're asking for a complete debt validation on the debt. And, so we'll await their response. Let's see here. I think on my notes that was all we had here. So I'm gonna post this up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the like button, because it'll help bring more people that need help with their credit and with their debt. Um, if you need help with your credit, please visit thecreditrepairshop.com. If you need your reports and scores, please go to the website your3scores.com. If you get a letter from a debt collector, there's a free debt validation letter that you can get. The links are below this video. We have a cease and desist collection letter, and we have a debt validation letter, and we have a statute of limitations cease and desist letter if a debt collector is trying to collect debt from you that is past the legal statute of limitations to collect. And the way that you can find that out is you can either look online or go to my blog, thecreditrepairshop.com. At the bottom, click the blog, type in the search bar statute of limitations, and it'll bring up a page and it'll show you the legal statute of limitations to that a debt collector or original creditor can collect a debt that is not a judgment in your state. All right, thanks again. This is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com. Thank you.